Cancer. Hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid to late October 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Cancer collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these lovely Cancerians in mid to late October? Lovely time of year, one of my favorites. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Cancer. Oh, the card's already trying to jump out of my hands. Let's get them going here. Let's get one here. What's the vibe for my Cancer friends, please? Oh, yeah. The deck is acting funny. I'm not sure what that says about the energy, but it was like jumping out, then it was like maybe not. Okay. I like this card. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It reminds me a lot of the Six of Cups. Notice how that lady, she looks like she's looking behind her, so to speak. There's a lot of energy around communication. So there's a lot of layers to this very first card. There's a sentimentality to it as well. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the October subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, we have this lovely lady in the purple dress, and it does look like she's looking behind her. Now, this card actually does pair with another card that's in the deck, and it's like they're both kind of thinking of each other. So to me, this is one of the cards of like energetic and emotional tethers and cords, like who and what we're attached to. Because I personally believe that people, places, whether it's family, friends, or otherwise, when we form a nice bond, there is some sort of energetic back and forth and feedback, and this is one of those cards. It is very reflective. It's very sentimental. So for a lot of Cancers, maybe you're taking a few trips down memory lane at this time. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't stay there too long. But a big thing here is communication. Notice that there's birds in the sky. She's holding a letter. So to me, it's whether it's an impending communication or it's somebody wanting to speak about something to clear the air. We're just going to have to see if that weaves through the main part of the reading itself. So we're just going to put her down right there. Very sentimental, though. But we'll let her chill out. We won't bother her. She's having a moment. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Cancer, please. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk a little bit about last week's reading. It was titled An Explosive Situation. There was a lot of fire. There was some air in there too. So there was a volatility in the energy. So whether that was internal, maybe some of you were feeling a little up and down this past week. Maybe there was a situation where it could go one way or another, right? Like a coin flip. So just watch. That energy could bleed over for a couple weeks. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Cancer. What do we got for our good friends, please, in mid to late October? Here we go. Thank you. Okay. 8 of Cups. Someone's on the move, that's for sure. That card. I mean, I do like an action card in the first position, and I know a lot of people make this card out to be a challenge. I don't think it is. But let's see what it's moving towards. That's the question. Thank you. Okay, 4 of Swords. It's like a fake out. It's like, I'm going over here. Maybe not. Or, you know what, I'm going to do this. Maybe I won't. It's like a little back and forth like that. It's intriguing to me how that energy's showing through. Possibly a little indecisive. So let's get one more out here. What do we got for our Cancer friends, please? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, one of your power cards. There is a lot of mystery in this week's reading, but I think you're okay with it. A lot of this energy, I feel like Cancers can work within it. It's a lot more comfortable than what we were seeing last week, that's for sure. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I see a lot of elements that work well with you. Now, I always look at elements first. It tells me what areas of life could be sticking out the most. And obviously, there is an abundance of water energy. We got the 8 Cups. We got the High Priestess over here surrounding it. and that is your power element. That's the place where Cancerians are normally pretty comfortable, with the ups and the downs and the backs and the forths. It's usually tied into creation. So for a lot of you, the creative juices might be flowing. So whether it's creative approaches to situations you're going through, maybe it could be art, maybe it's writing, maybe there's something here about needing to let some energy out. It could also tie to spirituality. It could tie into relationships and that kind of stuff. So water is generally a pretty good place for Cancerians. And then we have the air in the center, which is more of the mind. It's the logical mind. For some of you, maybe you need a mental vacation too, like especially with the Four of Swords. To me, that's like I need a mental vacation here. But we're going to get into all the details. That's more of like the logic. It's very pragmatic. It's very straightforward, and it could be communicative as well. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Eight of Cups. And as I mentioned, this energy is on the move, it's on the go. Total opposite of what we have here in the center. Now, a lot of people, when they see this, the classical interpretation could represent walking away from something. So I don't want to say, oh, you're about to give up on something. Oh, you're about to walk away from something. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. I generally see it as action. Somebody doing something, right? Like we have the nighttime, we have the moon. So there is a sense of going into the unknown where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to roll the dice. I'm going to do this, and whatever happens, happens. So again, whether it's moving towards something or away from it, we'll look into that a little bit further. I like it because it's action. I like it because it's progress. Now, the issue with this card, because remember, every card has a positive and a challenge. Sometimes the Eight of Cups could be abandoning something, feeling abandoned, giving up on things. So we want to look into it further. To me, it just feels like action, at least somebody considering it. Now, moving to the middle, as we get this Eight of Cups right back in by this amethyst crystal where it likes to be, we have the Four of Swords. And we see this individual, looks like he's laying there praying, meditating. This is a highly spiritual card. So for a lot of Cancers, now is a great time to go within, to pray, to meditate, to connect with your inner voice. Huge. In its positive sense, it could be very healing. It could represent a rest, recuperation, feeling better, and recovery. So it's really great for that kind of stuff. But there is also a challenge. Sometimes this energy can be very stuck. It can represent problems. It can represent a bump in the road or a setback. So it's like we have progress, setback. We have action. We have no action. That's why I was saying it's like I'm going to do this. Maybe I won't. There's like this little bit of indecisiveness that's showing up in the energy this week. So we just want to watch out for any stuck vibes with this, because the Four of Swords could definitely be that. Don't overexert yourself. If there's something you're working towards or working on or trying to heal from, Spirit's asking you to be kind. Don't rush the process. You don't have to do it all at once. Now, moving to the back end, we have a lot more mystery showing up, and this is one of the cards that I do connect with the Cancers. I actually connected to all water signs, so Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Um, Classically, she's a Pisces card, though, but we have the High Priestess, the matron of psychics, intuitives, and tarot readers. Beautiful, highly spiritual. So as you can see with the Four of Swords, High Priestess, lots of spiritual energy here. So whatever it is you're going through, whether it's career or personal relationships, Spirit's like, you need to go within. There's something here about your intuition. So I know Cancers are highly intuitive. Like when you have a gut feeling, a lot of the times, at least 90% of the time, you're right. So maybe there's something where you're feeling your intuition tugging, and Spirit might be saying, maybe you should follow that, or maybe you should listen to that inner voice. There's just energy that keeps coming through about the inner voice or the connection to the divine, which is usually beautiful. High Priestess is usually balanced in her positive sense. The only downside to her, and it doesn't have to be a downside, is that she's very secretive, right? She has that Torah right on her lap. She has a volume of sacred law. So she knows a lot, but she's not saying much. She is very, very quiet. So it's a very rich internal world, very quiet outside. She represents secrecy. She could represent surprising energy, unexpected energy, mysterious type of vibes. So we do want to look into her further, especially with what we have up in the front, with like the action and all the mystery involved in this. I don't want to say the energy is dark, but there's an unsure quality to it overall. So I want to dive deeper on all the Cancer. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. So let's go in on that Eight of Cups. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's what the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Cancer, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, let's get that Eight of Cups going. What is happening here? What's this action? What's this movement? Thank you. Yeah, it's like an energetic do-si-do, right? It's like you're putting a foot in, you're putting a foot out. I'm not saying to it's someone doing it. So we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Now, I love the Wheel of Fortune, even when it shows up in reverse. I think it's a beautiful energy. I would say it's my four-leaf clover. There is something very strong here about like, listen, you got to listen to your inner voice on this one. You got to go with your gut on this one. So again, whether it's work, career, personal relationships, you might already have the answers within, right? That's something that's showing up to me right here. Like if you really take a cold, hard look at something, you probably already know, or you probably already have the answers you're seeking. But when I see the wheel in reverse, it can represent things looping back around. So it's like an energy goes, then it comes back, and then it goes, and then it comes back. I don't know what this is. Now, again, could it be a return of some sort? Potentially. But the energy seems a little unsure, seems a little flighty. Like it's going forward, it's moving back. Now, if it's a process that you're going through, be patient with yourself. It's okay. Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm sure you've heard that before. Um, you don't have to do everything at once. It's not an all or nothing type of thing. I don't know what the thing is, but it's not all or nothing. I can tell you that. The Wheel of Fortune is also very sudden. So when we combine all this mystery and the wheel, there's energy that just seems to pick up quick and just happens fast. So I want to look further and see, is this a change? Is this just karmic energy? This could represent the karmic wheels turning as well. So we'll just have to see. We're going to put it down. We're going to keep moving forward. Hopefully we get a lot more of our answers as we reach this high priestess. But let's go in on the Four of Swords. Let's see what that has. So why is the Four of Swords here? Please. For Cancer. What is happening? Okay. I don't want to say this is like giving up or detaching from something, but it's like most definitely taking a rest or a break. So what I said earlier in the beginning about maybe needing like a couple of mental health days or a mental vacation. When I see the Four of Swords and the Knight of Wands in reverse, it's like someone needs a break here. Like someone really needs to just like turn down the temperature because we have the fire air combination. Now the Knight of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Nights are all about action, communication, and this one in particular, it's going quick. It's very fiery. It's here, there, and everywhere. So when we see it in reverse under the Four of Swords, either it's something that stops suddenly, or it's something that needs a break or is taking a break. Hopefully, this isn't a problem. There's a lot of things that feel up in the air in this week's reading, where it's like, could this be a problem? Yeah, it could be. Could this be a rest or a break? Sure, could be that too. It just feels like so much is up in the air. So again, pace yourself, be kind to yourself. You don't have to do everything all at once, and maybe you do just need a little bit of a rest. Nothing wrong with that. What I'm just the big thing I'm hoping is with all this movement up here, and then we go into this, it just stops suddenly. It just stops dead in its tracks. So let's keep moving. We're going to go in on the High Priestess. We'll see what she has. Then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. For another portion of you, this is another thing. Four of Swords with the Knight of Wands in reverse. There could be something where Spirit's like, don't chase it, let it come to you. Whatever that means, whatever that's for. Where it's like, don't chase it, attract it, be magnetic, pull it to you. You don't got to do anything, but just let the energy come in. I saw something very similar in the Aries reading. Let's go in on the High Priestess before we do our recap. Okay. And then it does. And then it does. Okay. And it's much easier than you may have thought because we have the Page of Wands in the upright underneath this High Priestess. Big card of communication. I always say that, especially with the Page of Wands. So under this mysterious card, this could either most definitely be a surprising or unexpected conversation, talk, or message. That's just like the main thing I'm feeling there. But it's like the energy's trying, but then the energy stops trying. And then when this energy does whatever this is in the center, whether it's stopping, resting, disconnecting, that's when this energy comes in on the back end. That's when energy moves forward. So it's like we have the pressure, then we have no pressure, and then the energy comes to you. That's how it feels. So the Page of Wands, again, fire sign energy. Another action card. He showed up in the upright, but it's big for communication and talk. So I think I mean, it's pretty clear now where it's like once, I don't want to say once you stop trying, then the energy comes in, but that's kind of how it feels to me right now, where it's like, all right, well, whatever. Like when the energy throws its hands up and says whatever, then it's like, oh, hey, here I am. It's like giving me that kind of vibe, which is really peculiar. And it could just be conversations or talks you weren't expecting to have as well. That can be another thing. Doesn't have to all tie in like one storyboard. Maybe a couple people are going to hit you up you haven't heard from in a while. Maybe they're topics you weren't expecting to discuss. Because she's digging in deep, right? Like when we get to the high priestess, if she is speaking, she's speaking about some deep stuff. Let's go through and do a quick recap, and then we'll get into the shadow card. But if you kindly look in the box, very intriguing reading this week. There's a lot of back and forth in the energy, so to speak, but that's all good. Position number one, we have the Eight of Cups with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I did say that this can be nice. I mean, especially with the wheel. But it is also that coming and going, back and forth type of energy. So whether it's someone that's being indecisive or they do something and then try to walk it back, it's like giving me that kind of vibe. Could be certain things looping back around too. Moving to the center, we have the Four of Swords with the Knight of Wands in reverse. Either that's a sudden stoppage of something or somebody needing a rest, needing a break. And I did say for some of you, maybe it's disconnecting. I don't think that's for all of you. But a big thing here is like just don't try. Which you listen, I have an Aries place, major Aries placements. I'm all about putting effort, but sometimes the best effort is no effort. Moving to the back end, and that could pay off. We have the High Priestess with the Page of Wands. So there could be various conversations or talks you're not expecting to have. But aside from that, it's like once this energy says whatever and throws its hands up, that's when this energy seems to come in. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end here just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, what do we got here for Cancer, please? What do we got for our good friends? Thank you. Okay, death card. Don't get too creeped out by that. We are moving into Scorpio season at the time of this filming, and this card does link to Scorpio. So again, maybe there's something about this next zodiacal season that's being highlighted. Now, the death card, sometimes it can represent the close of a cycle and endings, but I think that it's a much bigger picture type of energy. Yes, it is also karmic like the Wheel of Fortune. So for a lot of cancers, now could just be a pressure time to spur you forward, right? Pressure makes diamonds. And that's kind of how this card feels to me. But it's also a phoenix rising from the ashes where it's like remaking itself. So for a lot of cancers, whatever situations you're going through right now, you're probably going to be different when you come out the other side, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? Progress, forward progress. Um, I'm not going to say this in the shadows represents like everything coming to a close and all this crazy stuff about to happen. But to me, it's more about not fighting a process where it's like, just don't fight the transformation. The more you fight it, the more difficult it's going to be. So we're just going to leave it right there. I mean, if you're connected to Scorpio, that could just be their energetic tether. But yeah, Cancer, that's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the October subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation and book a personal reading with me, you could check out my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The October schedule is up there and it's filling up quick. So if you want to have a little chat, go over there and check it out. But for the October subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of the most stunning decks I've ever experienced, the Star Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments. Since last month, I asked everybody which zodiac sign they get along best with. This month, out of all the zodiac signs, which one do you clash with a little bit there? Drop it down in the comments. You'll be entered to win. And the winners will be announced in the community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.